When two shapes are congruent, it's important that we note that congruence relationship so that other people know. So here is what we want to do. Two figures are congruent if they are the same shape and the same size. They can be turned differently, but same shape and size. The symbol we use is an equal sign with a tilde on top, so that squiggly symbol on top. And when you're expressing congruence, the order matters. Here's what I mean. Here I've drawn two figures. Now, for this angle at A and this angle at W, those are meant to be little square corners because those are right angles, 90-degree angles. The same is true down at angle D and angle Z. Those are square corners, so 90-degree angles. Angle B matches angle X because they both have one arc, and angle C is congruent to angle Y because they each have two arcs. The sides match up with little slashes. So AB, that segment, is congruent to WX, that segment. They each have the one mark. 2 marks with 2 marks, 3 with 3, and 4 with 4. When you're writing a congruency statement, you take your first shape and you just pick a place to start. I'm going to start with A. And then you go around the shape and just name the points you come to in order. So this shape is just A, and then to B, and then to C, and then to D. There you go. Then the congruent symbol. But once you've done an order in one shape, you don't have a choice. You must go in the same order on the second shape. So if I started with angle A, I've got to go over here to the corresponding angle in the other shape and now do the same thing in the same order. So W, X, Y, and Z. So whatever order you use in the first shape, you have to use that same order in the second shape when you are naming your congruence. All right, let's fill in the next section as well. Specifically with triangles, there is an acronym we use, CPCTC, which stands for corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. It's not a surprising thing, it's just a useful fact. We use those congruent statements, like we wrote up here, to identify angles that are congruent and sides that are congruent. Here's what I mean. Off to the side, in this example, I've got triangle LNM is congruent to triangle JIH. Remember, the order is important. So when I'm told here that in the first triangle, if I'm looking at segment, that's the two letters with the bar on top. So it's this line on the side, this line segment. Segment NM is congruent to what other segment? Well, take a look here. N and M are the last two letters of this triangle. So I need to use the last two letters of this triangle, I and H with the bar on top. So segment IH matches up, getting one congruent mark. With angles, you do the same thing. Angle L, there that is, angle L, that's the first letter in this triangle, matches up with the first letter in this triangle. That's going to be angle J. So congruent to angle J. The symbol we use for angle is kind of like it's like flat on the bottom, and then it's got, a little angle to it. Now, when you're naming angles, sometimes you'll see one letter being used. That is the vertex of the angle, so we're talking about that one. Sometimes you'll see three letters being used. Angle NML is the angle you get when you start at N, go to M, and then go to L. So it's going to be this angle here. You are looking at the center letter for your vertex, for where the angle occurs. All right, well, NML is middle letter, last letter, first letter. So in the next triangle, go middle letter, last letter, first letter. Angle IHJ is going to match up and be congruent. So the order of the points, the letters in the congruence statement, can help you answer questions like these because the corresponding parts, the parts that match up, are congruent to each other.